Now, when I'm out there live streaming and I'm magic finding, you know what I'm looking for, fellas. I'm looking for those crazy high runes that are so awesome for making them godly rune words, and I'm looking for those incredibly rare uniques. You know what I'm talking about, the D-webs, the Griffin's Eye, etc., etc. But a lot of times when I'm live streaming, I'm picking up a lot of these blue magic items, and people are asking me, hey, why do you even pick up and ID those things? Well, that sounds like a great idea for a video, huh? So that's what I'm going over today. All these different blue items that I pick up and identify what they're actually maybe worth, what they're used for, or why it is that I even want them in the first place. And also, I'll talk about why I want you to hit the like button. It's for the YouTube algorithm. So we will start our journey out here with this magic worm hide right here. Now, most blue armors people wouldn't pick up. Don't you always use things like uniques like Viper Magi or rune words like Enigma? Well, this worm hide, of course, like all the other ones I've identified, rolls as absolutely nothing. But what I'm hoping to find is something like this right here. Now, yes, finding this armor right here is incredibly rare. I've never found one in my entire life. But if you're online, these are incredibly valuable. Now, you can actually buy armor similar to this straight from Charcy, but they are not elite bases. And also, a lot of times you get one of the ones that are heavier bases that in PvP, they will actually slow you down slightly. So these actual elite bases are incredibly rare, and the demand isn't super high, but the supply is incredibly low as well. So they can be incredibly valuable. Another thing to look out on these is the stability mod that's at 24 faster hit recovery. I don't particularly know personally the value difference between the life and the hit recovery one, but this is another extra mod on the 4 sockets you can look out for. And I'm sure you're wondering, what do you actually do with these? Well, usually they either stick 4015s in them, or they go ahead and fill them up with perfect facets. Now, the second one up is not going to be even close to as valuable as the first armor right there. In fact, this one is essentially worthless, but I always pick up and identify both the Ogre Mauls and Ogre Axes. And yes, you heard me right, Ogre. Yeah, it's kind of a channel joke that we all say Ogre instead of Ogre. So as a comical part of that, I pick up and ID all of these things, hoping they roll with something like this. First up, you're looking for the Cruels mod, giving that incredibly high enhanced damage. And then you want either quickness or evisceration, giving you either the attack speed or that incredibly high max damage. These things were absolutely goated for barbarians until a certain rune word came in and took over every melee character in the entire game. So while even though these aren't really worth anything, kind of just nostalgia wise, hoping to find something wacky like used to be god tier back in the day, I pick up and identify a ton of different like blue magic weapons, things such as this Hydra bow right here. And of course, I pick up a ton of the ones like I showed earlier, the Colossus blades and Colossus swords, because those were kind of the go-to ones, like I said, for those whirlwind barbarians back in like 2002, when the melee whirlwind barb kind of borderline reigned supreme. And yeah, the last one was kind of just for fun, but this next one can actually be incredibly valuable. And that is, I grab any of these class-specific javelins that will always, 100% of the time, roll with at least something for the javelin and spear skills. Now, usually people go with the Titans or T-strokes, but there are actually some javelins, these blue ones, that can roll with a crazy amount, actually 6 to javelin and spear skills, and up to 40% increased attack speed. If this ends up being one of the items you look for, yeah, the base actually doesn't matter as long as it's this class-specific one for the Amazon Maiden Ceremonial or Matriarchal Javelins, because the melee damage literally doesn't matter. You just want those skills and all that attack speed. Also, incredibly important to note, these are not like those cruel items that used to be good, now they're not. These are actually incredibly good right now and incredibly valuable, but also incredibly rare. I've never found any in my entire life. This next one I get asked about all the time is another one that slides into that list that I've also never found in my entire life. Can be incredibly valuable though. That would be this Griffin's headdress, but it's not just the Griffin's headdress. It is actually any of these helmets that you can go ahead and slap on druids. And specifically the one that is most well known that you're looking for is something along the lines of this right here. It's called a 6 NATO. If you add up the elemental skills and obviously the 3 to tornado, there you go. You got 6 to tornado. Now, also, you can actually look for stuff that has maybe, we'll say, 6 to something like Fissure or 6 to Armageddon, because the fire skills for the druid are actually good now. So it actually opens up more options kind of to have these crazy helmets that have a ton of skills on them for those elemental druids. And we will keep the valuable ones coming here with a blue actually claw for the assassin. Now, what could you really think you get on this? Wouldn't everybody either use Hoto or like maybe Bartok or something to get skills? Well, actually, these claws can get a crazy, insane amount of skills, very similar to the types of javelins you can get for the Amazon. Now, what we got our fingers crossed for is something like this exact thing right here. How insane. 3 to traps, 3 to lightning sentry, so 6 to lightning sentry. And this one even comes along with some mind blast skills to help you out there. And on top of that, it even has wake of fire on it as well. So it's actually 6 to wake of fire. So even if you're rocking those fire traps, this claw can work both for lightning and fire builds. And even on top of that, whoever had this one took it over to Larzik, you could get 1 or 2 sockets in it. It's a 50-50 roll, and they are lucky enough to get 2 sockets in it. This example right here is insanely crazy godly. Now, only certain claw bases can actually roll with skills, so I'll let you do your own research on that one if you decide to go out and try to start IDing these, to go ahead and find some trap claws. Hopefully you stuck around to the end, because this is ones you're always going to want to grab an ID. A lot of times they're not great. They'll have like 25% poison length reduced or something like that, but that is these blue Monarchs. Now, why in God's name would you want to identify a blue Monarch? Like, if it rolled 4 sockets, you couldn't even make a spirit or a phoenix in it or anything like that. Well, the reason is you're hoping for a jeweler's monarch of deflecting. These things are so incredibly valuable. Actually, I made a video about this kind of right at the beginning of Diablo 2 Resurrected's launch. Actually, one of the first ones of these jeweler's monarchs of deflectings sold for real money dollars on eBay, $1,000. Yes, $1,000 someone literally paid. Hopefully that guy was rich AF. Maybe it was Elon Musk or somebody like that. I don't know. But these things are incredibly valuable. That's why every single blue monarch that drops, I make sure I pick it up and identify it. Now, what would one do with this? I mean, obviously put 4 diamonds in it for all the resistance, right? I'm just kidding. Do not do that. But seriously though, usually these get filled up with either facets, maybe 40 15s, or even 15 15s, which would be 15 max damage and 15 increased attack speed. These things are so valuable, often people will re-roll them over and over and over, throwing 3 perfect gems in the cube with a blue monarch, hoping to get one of these jeweler monarchs that are deflecting. I personally have never gotten one, but hey, an old man can dream, can't we? Next up, check out this video right up over here. But before you go, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new and haven't done so already, subscribe up to the channel so you don't miss any of the future Diablo 2 Resurrected videos. And huge shout out to the patrons, Twitch subs, and YouTube channel members, and anyone who super chats on my live streams. You really do make it possible for me to keep streaming and making videos on this YouTube channel and over on Twitch. Peace out, fellas. And don't forget, keep slaying.